Good morning, everybody. My name is Duncan Smith, and I am the National Sales Director here at IAMS Wealth Management. I appreciate you sharing some time with me today. Uh, First and foremost, if we haven't talked in the past, just a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm the Director of National Sales here. My phone number and email are listed here, so I encourage you to write them down and also to reach out to me with any questions that you may have or to discuss any specific details of your practice. I will be following up after this with those that attended to make sure that if there are any questions, I can address them or something perhaps that you're trying to do that we could help you with. A little bit more about myself. I started in this industry a little over 20 years ago. I started out at Charles Schwab as a financial advisor. I was the director of financial education at MetLife here in Chicago, where I'm based out of. And then for Fisher Investments for almost 10 years, I was the vice president of the Advisor Direct program. And then I was a national vice president at Zacks Investment Management. And then luckily, I am with IAMS now. So very excited to be here and have things going here, but I have a vast experience in the institutional money management as well as retail money management. And so our compliance officer will be very happy. I'll make sure that you guys see the disclaimer here. Not that you would want to show this to anybody in the general public, but you can't. So anyway, let's kind of move on here and get things going because I know that your time is valuable and I want to make sure that I respect that in every way. So really, when I just think about who's coming to these webinars, there are essentially four different groups that do. So first would be an insurance agent that doesn't have any securities licenses, and they're tired of referring business away to the local competition, whether it's a relative that has their securities license or a branch of a wirehouse down the street, and they're looking to add some revenue, and by revenue meaning recurring revenue on a monthly basis to the practice. The average, I did a research on this, and the average investment advisor representative makes somewhere in the neighborhood between 50 and 70. So if you're just doing insurance right now, you could add that to what you're doing, and that's typically what you could expect as an increase to your income. Then when you're an investment advisor, you have many more touches with the household, so you're getting a larger portion of the household assets. Second group would be an insurance agent that is being held captive, and you got your 6 and 63, and you're at a BD and a broker dealer, and you're tired of splitting up to 50% or more of your pay with them for work that you're doing. You got limited investment choices. You're maintaining your own compliance records and doing all of that on your own because you are the person that's under the scrutiny of FINRA. Or you're an investment advisor already and you got your 65 or your 7 and 66 or your CHFP, excuse me, and you're with another IRA, and every time that you're trying to do something with them, whether it's an additional service or something, they have their hand out and you got to pay for that. Or you're not wasting time is not a correct term for that, but really your time is being consumed by creating proposals and other paperwork, really doing a lot of the administrative and operational paperwork, and you're not receiving the proactive sales or operational support that you need to run your business on a daily basis. You really have to shoot a flare gun into the air to get somebody's attention to get help. And then the last category is you're a spy from my competition, and I urge you to pay attention because you might learn something. So with that in mind, let's move forward. So I break this down into three parts. One is an overview of who we are as a company, how we got set up, what we do, how we do it, all the different parts. The second is to get into the, how we do it and the technology that we utilize, whether it's software. And the other portion of that would be services that we're providing for you. And then lastly is to kind of obviously speak to how do you get paid? How does that go on? Some of the benefits that could come from doing this. So jumping right in, let's get moving here. So who are we? So we started in 2016, and we came about because this is when they first started messing around with the fiduciary laws. And so what we needed was a platform for our insurance agents to still be able to manage money, but also do it in a very compliant and efficient manner. So we are a registered investment advisor. That's our firm, regulated by the SEC. We are a direct institutional fiduciary. So that's a fancy term for who we are and what we do. Fiduciary is a term that gets thrown about quite a bit out there. But some of the things that most people remember is that we are in writing, legally bound to put our client's interest ahead of our own. So we always have to put our client's interest first. We have to give an investment plan in writing to them saying, here's what we're doing, here are the reasons why we're doing it, and here's how this benefits you in the long run, so that they have a full understanding of what we're trying to do for them. And then avoid any conflicts of interest or even potential or perceived conflicts of interest. And a good example of that would be if you went to a large wirehouse and gave them some money to invest, you would see that more than likely they would put you in some mutual funds, and those mutual funds would be ones that are proprietary, that are only to that company, that that company has created. And the reason that you're in that is more than likely because that person gets paid more on that. Now, they don't need to disclose that, and it doesn't mean that they're bad mutual funds. It just means that there might be other options that are out there that might behave just as well. But the whole reason that you're in that is simply because the advisor is upholding his first fiduciary duty when he's at a broker dealer, which is to put the company first and foremost. So all across America, we have 70 plus advisors, and the only state that I believe that we don't have someone in as of yet, and it's a keen interest to me. So if you can plant your flag there, you will more than likely need to see me on a monthly basis in person, which is Hawaii. So keep that in mind, write it down, open branch in Hawaii. So a little levity to break things up, and then our assets under management right now. So currently we have 170 million plus. This probably needs to be updated. It's probably a little bit on the low side, but we've grown dramatically in the past 6 months, 8 months, with everything that's going on. We have new clients that are coming in, new advisors that are joining us, and it's in a very exciting time. So we're expanding rapidly, not just with assets under management, but with all of our staff and services that we're providing. To move on to give you kind of a breakdown of the players that are in the U.S. financial services, really there's two sides of the field to this. There is the broker dealer, and then there's a registered investment advisor. And so when we built our platform, we decided to become a registered investment advisor. And here are some of the reasons that we did that. One is, it's not licensing. Because you either need your 6 and 63 to become a broker with a broker dealer, or you need your series 65, 7, and 66, or have I believe there's 3 designations that you can have that will give you a waiver to those exams as well. But a broker dealer is just someone that executes market orders. They are held to, for the most part, held to the suitability standard, meaning that their recommendations, they have to just make sure that they're suitable for the client. They don't have to disclose any conflicts of interest, as I kind of mentioned in my example before. And traditionally, they're commission-based, so they're paid a percentage through a broker grid. So you're going to get paid similar to if you sold an annuity, and you get a commission on it. Well, you can take a percentage up front and have a trail on it, or you can take it all at once, whatever the case is. But it's based on a grid on how much production you're putting through them. And then the other part is that they're regulated by FINRA, and they're a member of FINRA, so they're self-regulating through FINRA, and it is the individual that is under the scrutiny and responsible for, making sure that all things are compliant. And so as a registered investment advisor, and some of the reasons that we chose to do this is that, our primary function is to provide ongoing guidance and make informed decisions on behalf of our clients. And so it's not a one-time sale. It is something where it's an ongoing basis, taking a look at the overall comprehensive picture of their financial situation and providing guidance along those lines with, not just us ourselves, but strategic partners that we have brought in. We're held to the fiduciary standard, which means, as I already stated, we have to put our client's best interest ahead of ours and not subordinate the client's interest to ours. So we always have to do that. We have to disclose any and all conflicts of interest or even perceived conflicts of interest. But the way that you get paid is far different than it is through a broker-dealer. We charge a fee, an annual fee, and at the end of every month, you could take what the annual fee is, divide it by 1/12, and that, for the clients that you would have, they are charged that. Some registered investment advisor firms do it on a quarterly basis. We do it on a monthly basis. So every month, you're getting the fee, and you're keeping 100% of the fee that you're doing. There's no grid, no nothing that it goes through. And then all the compliance oversight and all the legal oversight goes through the SEC, which is a third party, and it is the firm, so IAMS Wealth Management, that is responsible for that. So it's not the individual that's responsible for it, it's the firm itself. So I always try to point this out, not only just to people that are thinking about this, but also to existing advisors, whether they're with us or somebody else, because when you're sitting down with clients, it's always very important to let them know, what their choices are when they're out there, and they may be in the broker-dealer model and not know it. Again, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's a different system with different rules. And so we chose a registered investment advisor because we think it's better for us as a firm. We think it's better for the client as a whole, and we think it's better for the advisors when they work for us. Moving on, kind of how we came about, the corporate structure and the processes that we put together. You need to remember that this was put together by insurance agents for insurance agents. So when we did look at the registered investment advisory firm model, we took a look at all the different steps that are involved, whether it's contacting potential clients or dealing with potential clients or presenting to potential clients or bringing them on board as clients or servicing them as clients. And we looked at that all those processes and really highlighted the pain points of things that perhaps are time consuming for the advisor that you could offload from them and have somebody else do. So, this is specifically designed to complement insurance business. So if you're running an insurance only, whether it's life and health and annuities or disability or P&C, this is meant to complement that. This is just another chapter in the book. This doesn't mean that you have to, overhaul or restructure your existing business. It's just another spoke as to what you can offer your clients as far as helping them with their complete financial picture. We did try to minimize the burden of time-consuming paperwork because, time spent dissecting a brokerage statement and putting together a comparative analysis or filling out account opening paperwork or transfer paperwork, all of that is time that really is taking away from what you do best, which is talking to people, having relationships with them, finding out what's going on in their financial situation and coming up with solutions for them to help achieve their investment goals and what they're trying to do for their financial future. So we tried to offload as much of that as possible. everything that we're trying to do is implemented on a consistent, scalable plan. So there are processes that are involved, whether it's for you and going about and saying, here's how you get ready for a meeting, how you have a first meeting, how you get ready for a second meeting, how you have the second meeting, and how you ask for the business and how you follow up with that. Or if it's with us and follow through in execution when somebody first says, yes, I want to hire you, to make sure that everything's doing. So everything is a consistent process and it's scalable. I mean, this what we do works for a one-man shop, someone that's just doing it on their own, and it also works for someone that has several different agencies, branches, and they have a north, a south, an east, and a west branch. This is scalable to all of that, and so that was very important as we put this together. And then lastly, generates a recurring monthly income stream, because as you know, if you only do insurance right now, more than often the time that you receive the majority of the pay is a one-time payout. So it depends on how many, whatever X, Y, or Z, whatever you're dealing with, life insurance, annuities, whatever the case may be, how many of those you sell that month. And that may not happen the next month. Whereas, with investment management, we're billing on a monthly basis, and every month we collect the fees from the clients, and we then turn around and direct deposit that into our advisors' bank account. So there is a recurring monthly fee, and this helps in your overall business plan, really on budgeting, knowing exactly, smoothing the curve so it's not this roller coaster of pay that's coming in over a year. Now, to work with us, I mentioned this previously before, but just the qualification. So if you wanted to register with us today as an investment advisor representative, you would have to have one of the three qualifications here. Either you'd have to have a Series 65 license and register with us. You'd have to have your Series 7 and 66 license and register with us, or have one of these professional designations, either a CFP, CHSC, or a CFA. And the reason for that is that they get waivers by the states that they don't have to take those qualifying exams, because obviously earning these designations is a lot more difficult than it is to take the actual test itself. It's much more comprehensive. And but also keep in mind, so if you do insurance only, you don't have your 65, don't worry. I've helped lots and lots of people get their Series 65, because that really is, if you had to go out and get one of the above of those three, the Series 65 is it's not the easiest, but it's the path of least resistance, I guess is the best way to put it, because it's 130 questions. You have to get 94 right, which is a 72%. And studying for it, I would say on average, most people, it's anywhere between, I've seen people do it in a couple of weeks, and I've seen people do it in months and months and months. But I would say on average, about a month and a half, 2 months is ample time to prepare yourself to do this and study. And I have a whole process and program in place that helps you to, get the study material, check in on you as you're studying, get all the registration stuff done before you even take the test, so that once you do pass it, you're ready to go. Get really kind of set all the pieces in place. So, and then once you pass it, a whole program of getting you on board and going from there. So if you don't have the 65, don't let that stop you, because lots of people have done this and gotten their 65 and are very grateful that they have. Now, the biggest question that most people have, well, there's two that most people have. First is they want to know, okay, so if I join IAMS Wealth Management, how much does it cost me? What am I paying? And so we have a comprehensive service fee that covers everything. So it's all inclusive. It's not a la carte. It's not like when you get cable and you want HBO and that costs extra per month. So it's $3,500 and an annual one-time fee, or $300 a month. that is, and again, it's all inclusive, and when you look at all the different RIAs out there, I would say we're at the lower end of that. And when you see what what your next question is after this is what's included. And of course, my millennial snarky answer is everything. You'll notice a big difference here. So all the training that you need, whether it's initial training, ongoing, continuing education, starting a new software at a year, even into your career, and you want to do something else, all of the training is done by us, doesn't cost extra. And in fact, we'll get into some of the training later on, but we do a lot of in-person training as well. All the business management software that you need to run your business is included in this. All of the investment proposal software that you need to present everything, whether it's an analysis, it's an actual investment plan comparison, and a proposal for them, all of that is included. Reporting software that reports on just about anything that you can think of for your client accounts, whether it is individual positions, whether it is accounts as a whole, whether it is a household as a whole, whether it's year to date, all of that is included, as well as the reporting software can look into your own business and tell you things like how much will I collect in fees this quarter, what did I do in fees for this client last year, who's my top client, what is the number one position that all my, so you get it. You can do reporting for everything. Electronic signature software. Bear with me, just took a swig of coffee. So electronic signature, so we use Docusign. All of that is included. You don't have to go out and buy any of this software on your own. If you did, it would cost you thousands of dollars. Eno Insurance. So you may already have some Eno insurance that you have to use. Everyone that signs and registers with us gets a policy of Eno Insurance. My understanding from talking to the operations team, it's $1 million per incident, 2 million cumulative. It also covers life and health. It does not cover P&C, and it doesn't cover a notary public. The only reason I know that is because those were two specific questions that I had. Now, it's great that we issue this. It's great if it can cover you, if we can save you some dollars, but it's certainly not a reason to join us. We can do a logo or redo a logo for you. We can create brand creation. We have our own in-house creative and marketing team. They can do logo and brand everything for you. They can create a website for you. They can remodel a website for you. It is in-house. It doesn't cost you anything extra to use them. Anything, whether you use them once or a million times. Completed proposals. When you first meet with a client and they fill out a questionnaire for you and hand you a statement, you then turn that around and get it to our operations staff, and they will create a proposal for you and also complete all of the necessary paperwork and pre-fill it for you as best we can with the account opening paperwork. So completed proposals for essentially what we're creating is a meeting packet for you, right? All operational paperwork, all administrative paperwork. And then, account billing and maintenance. And one thing that I'm going to have the team put on here as well is all compliance oversight. So we're doing all of that. So everything on there is included, and it's $300 per month or $3,500 annual. Moving on from there to really the technology, and just to highlight here, I don't want to get too much into the weeds. Some of this you may know, some of this you may not know, but when I say all the business software to, that you need to run your business, this is just a highlight of some of those programs. There's many more that we have that, we don't have, and you don't want to have all the time to go through it all. So Fusion Elements, which in essence, think of it as the Windows for your PC. So it is the single login. As long as you have internet coming into your home office or your physical, your building office, whatever it is, you log into Fusion Elements, and it then is streamlined business processing. It's got a single cohesive business management tool. So all the other softwares that you have, you access through Fusion Elements. So once you're logged into there, it's a single login. Everything else is already there. And one of the neat things about it is that obviously it works with our all of our compliance software, so it keeps track of all the stuff that we need to do. But it also creates a traceable, trail for you to go throughout. And also it works with over 1,200, at least that was the number I saw last time on there, different applications. So even, perchance we don't have a software that you're looking, that you already have and you're looking to use, more than likely it's going to integrate with Fusion, excuse me, Redtail CRM, led to my own point there. So Redtail it's an industry leader for the financial industry, and it's really cool with all the things it can do. I mean, you can use it like a simple Rolodex saying, here's someone's name, their phone number, their email address, their physical address, and just use it as simply as that. Or you can use a lot of the workflow processes that they have, where you can set up like, here are the different stages of someone before they become a client of mine and after they become a client of mine. And here's a checklist for each one of the stages. And I know that I have to go through these checklists and all these things need to be done. So you can, use it to create your own workflows. You can use it for client communication, where you can schedule birthday cards to go out to people. You could have our creative department create a birthday card, generic birthday card with your logo and your name on it, and then when it's somebody's birthday, it fills in their name and sends them an electronic birthday card. So it's got a lot of capabilities. It's pretty cool, and again, it's very comprehensive. Continuing with technology, one of the main things that I often talk about, because this is really kind of at the heart of what our advisors do, is when you sit down with somebody and you gather their information and they tell you, here's what I have and here's what I'm looking to do with it, and I want to retire at this age, and we want to travel or get a house or whatever their goals are, and what they need their money to do for them. This is an excellent tool to do that with. So Riskalyze is proposal generation software. So it can do, it can do a quantitative measurement of their true risk tolerance and asset allocation, and gathering, putting into that all the key influencing factors of their investment objectives. Unlike, some of the risk tolerance questionnaires that are out there, like, how do you feel if the market goes down 40%? Oh, I feel terrible. Okay, then you're conservative. This takes into a whole bunch of different factors, like, is there going to be distributions? Is it taxable? Are you going to give it to your kids at the end, or a charity? Are you going to spend it down to the last dime? A whole array of things that it puts into consideration to really come up with a true risk tolerance, and also an asset allocation, and then structuring that around with the different investments that you could use with that. It also does an outline of their proposal, right, and talks about their risk tolerance in a way that's easy for them to understand. It has charts and graphs that make things very, very complicated points, and makes them very easy to understand. It also allows you to differentiate, here's what you're doing now currently with your investment strategy, and here are the differences, here's what we're proposing, and here are the key differences, and here's some areas of concern that you may have with that. And so the last part is purposely constructed to identify those areas of concern, and then recommending immediate steps of action that you can do to correct them. So it's all leading to a point. It's leading to actionable items that of these areas of concern. Here is how you can correct them. So it's a terrific tool, and it can be as simple, each report could be 4 pages or it could be 50 pages long, depending on how much you really want to get into it. And then lastly here with the technology, we have, I mentioned complete reporting software. It's comprehensive. So it can get into custom reports. We will put together the reports for you. If you need to do it on the fly and put it together yourself, you certainly can do that. We can, make it, if it's just an inner office kind of thing where you're looking to see, something about your own business, or if you have a client that says, you know what, I want to have a quarterly meeting and see, how I'm doing year to date, we can put that together, review all aspects, of their and your business, of what's going on with them. And then, we can brand this too. So it doesn't have to say IAMS Wealth Management on it. It can say, Smith's Wealth Management, if that's what your company name is or your firm's name is. So, however you want to do it, but it could have your logo and your return address and your company name on it. So they all can be branded, which is, it's good, because that's you're building trust and expanding your brand and really kind of keeping it consistent throughout. Docusign, I don't want to get into too much of the information on Docusign, first off, because there's not a whole lot to get into. Hopefully everybody has maybe used it, kind of used it, but understands exactly what it is. The reason that we switched over to Docusign is really there's two main reasons, and one is because it reduces errors, and I think most people can, if you're old enough, you can remember a day that you drove out to somebody's house, they said yes, you got all the documents filled out, done, and you were, driving back, and you get back to the office, or they've left your office and you're in the office and you look down, lo and behold, you missed a signature. Well, there's nothing more deflating than that after thinking, wow, I got the sale, so you can't do that with DocuSign. It won't let you move on unless all of the fields that need population are populated. So that is terrific. And then the other is it saves a ton of time. And I'm not just talking about like filling stuff out and doing it, because we pre-populate these with all the information that we have for you, and we'll send them to you. But typically it takes from the time that somebody says, you know what, I want you to manage my money, to you're actually getting paid on that money, it takes about a week's time off of that whole lag that happens in there. And that's just cutting out travel time, people not being available. I mean, because once you show a proposal to somebody and they say yes, and then you pull out an iPad and have them sign it and hit submit, it goes right back to our office and we can start acting on it right then and there. We don't have to wait for a FedEx. We don't have to do any of that stuff. Now, keep in mind too, we're certainly very cognizant that there are some people out there that want to hold something in their hand, right? They want a physical piece of paper. Absolutely. We'll print it out, put sign and date stuff on it, send it out to you, send it to them, FedEx overnight, UPS overnight, whatever you need done, we can get it done. But if it's possible to do DocuSign, much better to do it that way, to reduce the errors, and then obviously to reduce the time frame between when they say yes, let's get going, and when they're actually going. And lastly, on the technology, and this really kind of falls more into the creative and marketing department, all of our advisors, if you don't have a website, we encourage you to get one. And the only thing that someone that registers with us that doesn't have a website needs to do is to go to GoDaddy or whatever, some website like that, and get a domain name. Plant your flag on a domain name. And once you have that, you get it over to the creative department, and they can then build out the entire website for you. If you have an existing website, well, then they can take a look at it with you and remodel it. But again, customizable with your logo, all the key products that you want. You can have event pages if it's customer appreciation or seminars or webinars. It's obviously unifying your brand and building your credibility within, not just within your community, but within your, your base of clients as well. And it does have a client login where the client can log in and see the same exact real-time information about their managed accounts than they could if they went to the custodian and just logged in there. So and the cool thing about that is that it has the ability to capture so much more information on the client login. You can get things like, oh, I have a 401k and it's held at here it's because I'm working at Hewlett Packard, and here's what it's worth and what it's invested in. Here's how much I still owe on my house. I have credit card debt. I don't have life insurance. I do have life insurance. It's term insurance. Here's how much it's worth. Blah blah blah. All that stuff, but it can capture it all at once. So you can have in one place a whole lot of information on your clients, really to look at them holistically. And it's also a great help. If somebody lets you know that they're going to retire, well, if they've entered in or you've entered in their 401k information, you can get ahead of the game. And about a month out, you say, I know you're retiring, but we need to start putting a plan together for your 401k so that we can, you just don't run up against this. You leave them and it's like, what the heck do I do? Let's get a plan in place. And obviously showcases everything that you do. Just because we're a wealth management division of IAMS does not mean that your website has to solely be financial based. The website that you're looking at here is from Chris Banks, and he joined us at the end of last year. And with Chris, he had a website already. So when he sat down with the creative department, and again, whether you're building a brand new one or just starting one up from remodeling an existing one, what they can do is they're working directly with you. So it's not like, okay, you want one, we'll stamp one out for you. They're working with you on the logo, because one of the things that, obviously, let's see here. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. Legacy. So he had them redo his overall logo and put that together. He also had the creative department put up this risk tolerance questionnaire link that's up here that goes to Risk Eyes. And actually, when you put in your information, it goes directly to our office. And this is a cool thing. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to take a sip of coffee, so bear with me. So a couple of weeks ago, holding a webinar, and someone that went to it, obviously his website information is all over on his card, on the screen, everything like that. Somebody went there, and little did he know, but someone went there and they put in all of their information, attached their statements to it, and click submit. And so our office, called up Chris and said, hey, guess what? John Smith already sent in all the stuff. You don't even have to have a first meeting, to gather all the information. We got it right here. You can call them up, set the second meeting. So that was pretty cool. Does it happen every day? No, but I thought that was kind of cool. And then, as I did mention before, a client login. A client can log in either at the custodian and look at their accounts in real time, or they can log in on your website. We try to train all the clients to log in at your website. They can see the exact same information that they can at the custodian. They can actually see a whole lot more than that. And not that the custodian would do something nefarious, but where they're going in your website. They're learning about your stuff. I mean, because besides just having the different tabs that Chris has here with financial planning and talking about retirement planning or asset management, or you want to do an annuity review and schedule that, or tax planning or estate and legacy planning, and having these different interactive tabs that have either examples or educational stuff, or where you can fill out a request on things. He also has all of his insurance services. So life and health, you can learn about the different types of life insurance, whether it's term or whole, or all the different types. If you need a quote, you can submit that in here, or health insurance or P&C. So everything we encourage all of our advisors to put up every single thing that they do up on here, so that you have your complete business. And that's why you want your clients always going there to look at their accounts. Talk about the services that we provide. So, creative and marketing, we touched on that with just putting together, whether it's a remodeled website or an existing website, and certainly they can do logo. If you want a sea turtle as a logo, they can do that, or create a brand that you're putting out there and how to go about that. Business cards and mailers, so put all those together, whether it's a mailer that's going out to existing clients or prospective. All PowerPoints for seminars and webinars, they can put that together for you. You don't need to be a PowerPoint expert. They can put this together. You provide them with an outline and bullet points and work with them what types of stock photos you want to go on there. They'll put it together for you. Newsletters and brochures, they can, you have a monthly brochure that you put out. They can do all the graphic designing, everything. You supply the content if you have different content that you want to use each month, but they can put all of this together and brand it with your logo and everything on it. As well as, if you do want to get into social media marketing like LinkedIn or Facebook and do some marketing that's on there, they can set up the entire campaign for you. Now, obviously, we're not going to pay for the ads that go on to that, but you're ready to go once you contact Facebook or LinkedIn or whoever it is, Instagram. You have a complete, marketing plan and all of the assets ready to go for that. And again, none of this costs extra. I've not seen this at any RIA. I've seen variations of it where someone will have an in-house creative and marketing team, but they'll charge you X amount per hour to use them. Or they will farm it out to a third party who will charge you X amount per job or per hour to do it. But to have unfettered access to the creative and marketing department, I have not seen that as of yet. So it's a really big, powerful piece. And again, you can use it once or a million times. It's up to you. And then really going into the services overview of what we're doing. We touched on this before, but administrative services, what we're doing is we're giving you collect a questionnaire and a statement from a client. We are returning to you a fully completed client proposal, whether it's 4 pages and just saying, you told us that you have cash, here's how, it would be invested. Is obviously working with you. It's not, something that we're doing. Most of our advisors have their own templates of how they want to present and the different sections that they want to go through. And also with that, we're pre-populating all the client paperwork, account opening, transfer, everything, and sending that, if it can be done via Docusign, we're doing that. If it needs to be hard copies, then we're printing it out, signing date stuff on it, and sending it, overnight, second day, however you need it to go, where it needs to go. And then any, reports, say every quarter you want to hold quarterly meetings with your clients. Well, you know what, get us a list of the clients and when the dates are, and we can have those reports done ahead of time for you, and almost like pre-meeting packets to go through to sit down and you're ready to have that meeting, so that you're not having to go through days before and pull all these reports to sit down with somebody. Operational services, whether it's account rebalancing, or Eno Insurance, obviously covering you on that. As I mentioned, it does cover life and health. And then monthly billing, we're doing all the monthly billing. You don't have to worry about any of that. Compliance and oversight and the record keeping for it. It's not on you. We have a cloud-based system. The days of the compliance officer coming out to your office or home office to inspect what's going on, there's not a need for us to do that. I mean, first off, because of the pandemic, most people work from home. now. They have a home-based office, and everything is kept online. So it's not like you have documents that are sitting out and you have to have them locked in your file or anything like that. They're all kept online, and we have a whole system that does that. And really, in working with our creative department, even if you said, I want to have a newsletter that goes out every month, well, the last step that our creative and marketing department does is that they run everything by our compliance department to make sure that everything's up to snuff, and it gets to you, it's ready to go. You don't have to say, can I use this now? When can I use it? Or do I need to submit this? It's ready to go. So again, saving you time for what you do best, which is, sitting down with clients, having a conversation, gathering assets, and obviously helping people to achieve, their financial goals for the future. Training and education. There's a number of ways that we do this. So, first is that we do it, there's in person, right? So we will have training events. And in fact, quarterly training events this month, we're not doing, this month, we're not doing it at Omaha because this quarter we're holding our annual sales summit in Nashville. So we're actually holding it down there. So that will be in person down there. Everybody's flying down, driving down, however they're doing it to get to Nashville, and we'll have training there in addition to our annual summit that we have for all of our advisors. But in the other 3 times of the year, what we're doing is we're flying people out to Omaha, a couple of days out there, go to training and do it in person, almost like freshman class, where we get you up to speed with the software, what's going on, and typically you've had a lot of training before you've even come to this in-person one. But in addition to doing the in-person, just startup initial training, onboarding training, we have advisor summits, like I mentioned. We have weekly advisor roundtables where all of our advisors have the option of joining an online roundtable where people are sharing their ideas with each other, or even informational webinars that we hold once a month with all our advisors, either to learn something new, or maybe there's we go over a different process, or who knows, maybe we have a strategic partner in from one of the research committees for one of the money managers, and they talk about an economic update or whatever the case may be. But there's continuous training that's happening. We have so many training videos, it's crazy. So if there's a software that you want to learn to do, but you don't have the time to, during the business day, and maybe it's like, I'll just watch the videos on that at night, we have that. We have whether it's a process and how you go about and run your business, we have videos on that. And then obviously we can hold one-on-one training with you. We're happy to get online, pick up the phone, wherever the case may be, and walk you through something or assist you with something if you already kind of have a grasp of it, but you need a little bit more, or you've never used this software in the past because you didn't think you needed to, but now suddenly you think that you want to utilize it. We're happy to help with all that and do all that training. And then, keep in mind, training doesn't just have to come from us. It doesn't have to be IAMS training. We have investment committees, market research, a vast document library. So whether it is, we had an instance with a client that wanted to learn more about buffered notes. And so we had the person that was part of the fixed income department of one of the money managers, who actually created and helped do all that, called up with the advisor and walked the client exactly through it, put it in terms that they can understand. Pretty powerful when you have the person that's actually doing that talking to them. So I mean, if we can help, we will. We try to, education is huge, and it's continuing. Talk about the service structure, and I do think that this is a pretty powerful piece, because it really gives you the 3,000 overhead view of the entire structure and who plays what part. So obviously, there's you as the advisor, and you're the relationship manager, and then you have your clients, and then there's IAMS Wealth Management, and what we are is that we're in essence your back office, service, operational, administrative department, all those different things. So we're doing all that stuff that we talked about before. We're generating the proposals, account opening paperwork, client account analysis, market research, educational resources. You see all the things. You can read, you don't need me to read for you. So we're doing all that. We don't have, we're not going to directly call your client unless you want us to. You are the gatekeeper in that relationship. You are the local point of contact, the relationship manager. And so it's, you are the person that's in charge of that. So if you need us to, we certainly would be more than happy to at any point to contact your client, but it's your client, it's not our client. At any point, and I should mention this, at any point, you say, you know what, thanks, but no thanks, I'm out of here. You take your clients with you. They're not ours. It's not like a broker dealer where they can claim possession of them. So they are your clients. You are our client. So that's how this relationship works. We have different money managers, and they are tasked with one thing, and well, three things. I shouldn't say one, but one chore, which is to do the research and oversight based on the information of your client, put in the risk controls in place, and make those strategic account decisions as to how their accounts are invested. So that's their job. They don't call the client directly. There's no need for them. If you need to have them, again, that's up to you, and we're happy to facilitate that so that they can do it. But I will always want to make that point that these are your clients and you're the point of contact. And then lastly, you have a third-party custodian. And the reason that you have a third-party custodian is because of the fact that, excuse me, that's a Bernie Madoff question, right? I think it was Warren Buffett who said once that the easiest way to get taken advantage of is to have the person that is making the decisions with your money holding your money. So you have a third-party custodian that acts as the firewall, and their job is very clear. They are the guard outside the vault, right? So you say, don't let anybody else in here. When we ask for something, get it right from the right safety deposit box and bring it out to us. And when we hand you something, put it in the right safety deposit box. They house the assets, they process the trades, and they keep it, fraud protection and online security. There is never a need for them as well to contact your client. If you need them to, we're certainly happy to facilitate that, but they are never going to contact your client. So let's talk briefly about the money managers, and this is something that I can go to at length if you need to, but I just wanted to highlight it, and it's really kind of two sides to the equation here. The first side is the retail side, and that's the people that handle the individual accounts, the IRAs, the Roths, the trusts, whatever it is, and there's a total of 9, as I mentioned. There's First Trust, Alpha DNA, Black Creek, not Black Rock, but Black Creek, Tiber, TKA, Fusion, Carlton, Brookmont, Lear, and Optimus. And then on the opposite side of that is the business or institutional money managers, which handle 401ks, TSPs, whatever you have, SEI, Pacific, Equus, Mass Mutual, American Funds. There's many more beyond this. These are just the ones that got chosen to go on this slide, but there's many more beyond this. So this allows you to not only deal with individuals and their own individual stuff, but also to deal with companies and their money management, whether it's a 401k. So you can get paid on both of these. And, typically if you're working with, a 401k or a 403b or whatever the case may be, you then have access to the individuals. And we have a lot of our advisors that do that. And really to kind of just show you, the simple to the complicated to or more complex, I should say, not complicated, to, the different alternatives that we deal with. Some of our advisors choose just to keep it simple, and they, First Trust does more than just this. So don't think that this is all that they do, but you can get a client of yours into a risk profile, right? A risk model, and say, okay, so you fill out the questionnaire. It looks like you need conservative growth, so you're going to have 35% equities, 50% fixed income, 10% alternatives, and 5% cash. And so First Trust, amongst a few of our money managers, are able just to do a very simple. Say you run into a client that says, you know what, I hate ETFs, I hate mutual funds, I'm not doing any of that stuff, I don't want a risk model. Well, you could use Brookmont or Alpha DNA. They use individual securities. They build out a portfolio of 30 to 45 individual securities. It represents all 11 sectors of the S&P 500, all the different things, as well as having a bottom-up process with quantitative, screens to show you how they got at the decisions that they did. Or, when you think of alternatives, most people think precious metals or gold. Well, guess what? There's things beyond that. Black Creek is in corporate real estate, and it's a third largest asset class behind stocks and bonds. But if you look at the average retail investor out there, they have 0% of it and zero access to it within their portfolio. And so this is a great way to get somebody, a diversification, something that's not correlated to what they're doing, and also get oftentimes a better return, because bonds aren't really yielding all that much right now. So if you can get something beyond what the bonds are doing, you'd be happy to do it. So again, and this isn't saying when people need fixed income or alternatives, this is what they get. This is just showing you how we tried to remain flexible and get a big menu so that we could service your clients, because we can take care of the neighbor's kid who has $10,000 and is looking to get it invested, or a family that has a $10 million trust. We have the capability with the processes that are in place, the money managers, and obviously the institution that we chose as our third-party custodian to handle all of those situations. And again, TD Institutional is our custodian. Their job is very simple, as we went through before. Now, the last point that I'll get into here, which again, most people, this is the second biggest question, is, how do I get paid? What can I make? And so when you look at a fees example and you say, okay, so, you have clients that are with us, let's just say they have $500,000. Well, the fee that you see at the top, the advisor fee, most of our advisors charge 1% for assets under management. So that is your fee that you're charging them, and you keep all 1% of it. There's nothing that gets shared with us. There's nothing that doesn't go through a grid or a payout system, or if you reach this level of production, you keep all 1%. That's pretty simple math to do. If someone has $1 million, then you make $10,000 that year on it, if it didn't even go up a cent. The second number that you see here is the management fee, and that's split between us, the money manager, and the custodian, right? So that's getting split between the people that are doing all the service work and managing it and doing all that. The all-in that the client sees at the end of the day, which is very transparent, is a 1.78 in this example, right? So 1.78, and again, that's well below what the average person pays out there, because if you went to any retail broker dealer and sat down with them, with a Schwab or a Raymond James or anything like that, most of their clients are paying 2, 2.5, 3. And so it's below the average, and certainly it can go down from there as well. The advisor fee, I like how they show it going down here. It doesn't have to. That's up to you if it goes down or not. That's up to every advisor. So really kind of getting to the end point here, and getting short on time, I really kind of want to wrap up. If you are, at the point, I think at least a couple of times a year, at least I do this, you really need to take a stop and take a look and do an inventory, an objective view of your business life, right? And if you kind of come to the conclusion that, you know what, I don't want to leave money on the table because I don't have a license for this anymore, or I need to add, it'd be nice to have a monthly paycheck that was coming in as opposed to, something that was just when I did a sale. Or if you're tired of, splitting with a broker and, what you're doing all the work and then you're splitting it with them. Or even, if you got a mountain of compliance paperwork that it's just burning up your time. Or even if you're with, you're already an RIA and excuse me, an IAR, and you got all this time that you're doing, filling out administrative and operational paperwork, or, you're tired of having to raise your hand extra high or be the squeaky wheel, whatever it is, to get some sort of service, that is not apparent. Well, then, we can help you in those situations, right? I mean, because if you're ready to make a change, or if you're just curious about it, give me a call, shoot me an email. We can set up a time, a meeting to discuss your situation. It's not too, if you're thinking about this may take place in 3 months, 6 months, it's not too early to reach out, because you know what, it doesn't, I'm not motivated to speak to you whether you're serious about making a move or you're just curious, right? I get paid to explain what it is that we do to people that are thinking about it, or people that do it already, and explain how we do it differently and how it may help them. And then, I've been doing this for almost 25 years, and we can help you really kind of go, cut through the jungle on this, where it can seem very overwhelming process. It's like, I don't know how to get my 65, or I don't know how it is that you go about. Can I take my clients with me, or how does it work with this? It can help you answer all those questions. And then obviously, lastly, we're here to help you. You've got enough stuff on your plate without trying to manage every single thing that goes on all day long. And so we're here, we set a process in place to help you with that. So kind of just a real quick review, you get a single platform that gets you online. You got a SEC compliant detailed CRM. You've got all the proposals we're doing for you, all the paperwork. We can do it electronically, or we can do it in hard copy. We can get you client reporting software, your own business, reports that are going on, any communication that you need to have done with your clients, we can set that up. All on-demand creative and marketing, business website creation or remodeling, social media marketing, campaign construction, and then obviously Eno Insurance. But that's we can. Well, there's so many areas that we can help you. And what I would say is this: if you fall in this category with where what, I need to get the 65. I don't have it right now. I have my 6 and my 63, but I don't have my 65, or I don't have anything, and I need to get my 65. Well, I have an advisor profile form that basically tells me, here's who I am, what I do, how I kind of go about things, and here's when I'm thinking I'm taking the test. But I mean, really reach out to me, because once I get this form, then I set in place a process that helps you get ready and pass and register with us and do all that. You study for the 65, you enroll and take the exam, and you schedule the date, time, and location. And obviously, I help all along the way with this. You don't have to, read about it or learn how to do it. If you already have your 65 and 77 and you're working for another RIA somewhere else, or maybe you're your own RIA and you're tired of dealing with it, again, give me a call. Let's set up a meeting, talk about what's going on. I'm not guaranteeing that we're better than everybody else or better than what you have going on right now, but it's always worth a second look to see if what we can do can help you and maybe streamline and make your job a little bit easier, because there's enough people out there trying to make your job harder on a daily basis. We're trying to make it easier. So, we get your registration form, we register you with the SEC and the state regulators, we have an onboarding team, and just like with the people, once they get their 65, this is what they go through too. We issue the Eno Insurance and we set a training schedule. So, that's what I wanted to kind of say, is that, let's set up a meeting. whether it's on the phone or online, doesn't matter to me, but at least have a conversation. So thank you everybody very, very much. I know that, you know, you have a lot of things that you can do in your day, but I appreciate you sharing some of your day with me. My direct phone number is there again, 402-403-1554. That rings directly to my office, or shoot me a quick email. And perchance you're on the road and you can't write this down, you can't do this or whatever it is, all of you, those that attended, and even those that didn't, I'll shoot an email out to, but those of you that attended, I will certainly follow up with you to see if there's anything else that I can discuss with you to help you along your way. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, and I will hopefully talk to all of you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.